Good Friday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk with Keith Smith. It's a big prediction Friday. Today on the set of the I Love CVille Network, Real Talk with Keith Smith, presented by Yes Realty Partners. And ladies and gentlemen, predictions and crystal balls and Mr. Predictos are all abound on this gorgeous Friday holiday morning in downtown Charlottesville. Judah Wittkower is our enterprising director. Keith Smith, the star of our show. If we can go to the studio camera, you will see a very distinguished gentleman.
Hello.
Good Friday morning.
Good Friday. Hold on a second. Let's ask Mr. Predicto, is today going to be oh boy, should we ask that question?
Oh, you can.
Is today going to be a good show? Is Smith going to screw things up? Let's try that one.
We need to use the crystal balls and Mr. Predictos and the magic wands more.
No.
They're a lot of fun.
They're a lot of fun. Yeah, I actually went back and watched this exact show a year ago, which on one level was frightening that, this is our third. No, this is our third. What is this, our fourth December together?
I think this is our fourth December together.
This is our fourth December together doing this, and that's just, a little scary there.
It's fun.
It's fun. I have a lot of good time on that great stuff.
Too.
But I did go back. I'm going to start the show off with Smith got it wrong, right? We got to be honest with each other and with the viewers and listeners because they know this stuff. I watched it, right? And I predicted that interest rates would stay around 4%. Got that one wrong. I wasn't even freaking close. Oops. And then I got that inventory was going to increase somewhere between 2.5% and 5%. Oops, got that one wrong.
Where are we at with inventory?
Yeah.
Now that we're at the end of the year.
Yeah. I haven't looked at the whole year. I just was taking a look at week over week. But to make a long story short, the same week that we did the show this last 7-day footprint that we did at this show last year, we had 56 new units come on the market. This week we have 36 coming on the market. That's like a 35%-ish plus or minus drop year over year. Pending the same week, we had 76 pending. This week we have 49. Again, that's somewhere around a 30% drop. But it was an interesting look at it. The absorption rate. So it's something new I'm looking at now is absorption rates. What in 7 days, how many units are actually going under pending. That's the, how quickly the market is absorbing active things. There was a 7-day window a year ago, there was like 10 units that went homes that went pending a day. It's 7 now. So that's also it is a 30% drop. So basically, week over week across the board, news coming on the market. This is week over week, year over year. Hello, Liza. Liza agrees with my statement. Apparently, we're at 35% down on news, 35% down on pendings, about an absorption around 30 days. And I didn't do solds, but solds last year was 95. This year is 66. So we're probably in that range. So, Smith got Mr. Predicto and Smith totally got it wrong. We are definitively year over year down. I did look at 18 and 19 though, and this is my beginning of the Mr. Predicto kind of thing for the next 12 to 24 months. I think as far as activity goes, it's going to be looked more like 18 and 19 is what Mr. The crystal ball is telling me. And apparently it's got a bit of a crack in it. So, or that's my head. It might be the head. But anyway, when you get them right, you got to call them. You got them right. When you got them wrong, you got to step up and call them when you're wrong. So I was wrong, big time.
Predictions coming in from viewers and listeners. Jamie Turner, welcome to the program. The mayor of Gordonsville. The king of content, Neil Williamson, watching the program. And Neil Williamson's got 3 predictions for 2023 that we're going to highlight here in a matter of moments.
Does one of them involve a mustache?
I mean, Neil Williamson is a gentleman and a scholar and a friend and someone who I would love to belly up to a bar any day of the week with. Neil Williamson's 3 predictions, and viewers and listeners, let us know your predictions. The crystal balls are out, and we're going to have some fun with holiday cheer right around the corner. Neil says 3. Oh, there's a crystal ball. That's very nicely done right there, Jude.
Hold it. We went through this last year. You're not supposed to touch the crystal ball.
Well, you can't touch crystal balls?
No, we went through this thing.
Okay,
Johnny
so it's like
Ornalis, and that's the problem with rewatching the
All right,
show
let's go to the
last night.
crystal ball cameras here.
We're only allowed. We're
Jude.
allowed to go like this.
All right, am I allowed to do? I'm allowed to do this with the crystal
You
ball.
totally can do that. Totally can do that. But I believe.
Oh, I see my reflection in the crystal
I
ball.
believe touching the crystal ball is something one shouldn't do.
The crystal ball camera must be. Let's make this a regular for the show. It's dynamic.
Well, we've got 2 more, so we can do all kinds of crystal
Michael
balls.
Plecker says, Keith, thank you for acknowledging my interest rate prediction.
Yeah, no,
Michael Plecker's called it.
he called it. I got it wrong. He called it.
Neil Williamson, Free Enterprise Forum. Here are my 2023 predictions. Neil Williamson says.
Oh, I got pen ready to write.
I think you should write these down. 1, the Charlottesville zoning ordinance passes on or before June 19th. That's upzoning. 2, Neil will sip nice free bourbon from Keith Smith. And number 3.
I really needed to write this stuff down.
No. And number 3, Mr. Smith will be clean shaven in June of 2023 for the first time in
Since
40 years.
Since 1985.
Good Lord.
I have not had this mustache off my face since 1985.
So in 37 years, I'll add a prediction. Neil Williamson will be using an electric razor to shave Keith Smith's mustache live on air.
I'm evoking executive producer privileges at this particular point. I never agreed. Neil, pull out the written agreement that we signed live on air. If I lose, we will shave the mustache off. I'll ask my sister to come in, right?
Oh, your sister's going to do it.
I love Neil, but I'm not going to put anything sharp around my face. What are you, crazy? So no, I will. My sister, if I lose, my sister will come in and I will honor my bet and shave it off. But I don't know. I think it's going to be close. I'd love him to put in the feed why he thinks he's going to win. Does he really think that we're going to get through this whole process by the June 19th and adopt it? I know, there we go.
Crystal ball cameras.
We should
Make
ask
sure
Mr.
you make
Let's
the,
ask Mr. I touched Mr. Predicto. Oops.
the crystal ball cameras. Rotate those in the mix.
Yep.
Okay. Ask him again. I won't talk.
Okay. Let's see if we can do it.
Make sure you put this in view of the camera so the viewers and the listeners can see it. The audio will be picked up. There we go. Okay, ask Mr. Predicto a question.
Will Smith lose his mustache this year?
Yes.
Well, there we go. There we go. There we go.
Mr. Predicto.
Mr. Predicto
yes.
is predicting the demise of my mustache.
Oh,
whoa, look at that. I put those words together. And I believe they were words that belonged together. Look at that. Smith was able to put together a sentence that actually made sense.
How about some bold predictions for 2023, Keith Smith?
Yeah, so, part of the problem was watching the predictions you made last year, and about 50% of them didn't happen. So, I guess I'm batting, what is that, 500? No, what is that, 250? What is it in baseball percentages if I'm batting 500?
You're batting 500. No one's ever done that. You would be the best hitter of all time.
So what's half of 500? 250.
Yeah,
Right?
250 is probably keeps you in the big leagues for, years. Wait, the Mendoza line.
Got it.
The Mendoza
Shows you how
line
much I know
is
about
200. Okay,
Got it.
The Mendoza line. If you're hitting below the Mendoza line, you better have a really good glove in the infield, a catcher,
Or in
maybe
my case, a good set of hair or something, or a mustache anyway.
I mean, your X factor is the mustache.
It is the mustache.
The problem with the mustache is it's about to go.
It's about to go.
Your X factor is about to go here.
Me and my big mouth.
Your bold predictions, my friend.
Yeah, so I think this next bold prediction setup is we're in a 24-month slog here, right? I mean, inventory.
24 months.
I see this as a slow kind of grind in the next 24 months. Look, transactions are still happening. So we're closing in the last week 7 units per day, or excuse me, went pending from active to pending 7 units a day. That's a good number. But it's definitively below where it was the same week last year by 3 units, which is 30%, and according to my math on it. So units will still change over. Like I've been saying this for a while, the last couple of months. This is when the pros got to show up. This is when you've got to go ahead and know how you're doing your job and help people manage it. This morning I was on the phone with a couple of attorneys helping them manage a transaction which they just couldn't figure out, and I got the phone call. To me, that is pretty awesome. Now, they talked forever, which I never quite understood. My time was limited, but they seemed to want to talk for more than a half an hour. But they were asking my opinion on how to resolve an issue so they could get a closing done. To me, that was flattering that I had and I'll leave the attorneys' names out on it, but these are 2 reputable attorneys in the area, and that was pretty awesome. So it's going to require skill. You're going to have to increase your skill, but transactions are going to happen, and you're going to have to start doing some of this outside of the box thinking, like Ray Cadell brought up a couple of months ago, I think, about the new 2-1. We've been talking about it.
2-1 buy-downs.
2-1 buy-downs. We've been talking about them with Scott. There's a 3-2-1 option out there. It's a little expensive, but the 2-1's a little bit more attractive. So folks are going to have to be a little bit more outside the box. The predictions for 2023 and 2024 is the micro markets are going to matter. It's been doing it for a while. I think when we were in 2021, 2022, in the beginning of it anyway, the first couple of months of it, it didn't really matter where you were, right? The 6 things I always talk about: location, price, features, condition, timing, and who's on the other side matters. It's the location's going to matter, and you'll find my prediction is going to be is that the sweet spots, the numbers of the sweet spots, whatever that is in that particular location, let's say Lake Monticello, it's somewhere around 250 and 350 is the sweet spot. There's not a lot of product available. Those homes are going to sell quickly. You're a little bit too lower than that, they're going to sit. A little bit above it, they're going to sit. So the sweet spot is going to get tighter and more competitive. The 2 other ends, extreme ends of that, are going to probably turn into buyers markets. Those things where the inner sweet spots per jurisdiction is going to be more of a seller's market. I think this time next year, that's what we'll be talking about. That's what actually materialized. The other thing is, I don't think you're going to see it in 2023, but I may become unpopular with some folks in my industry, but you're going to start seeing a reduction. Attrition, there you go.
Yeah,
attrition of agents in the marketplace. That I don't think is going to happen until next year.
We're seeing some attrition now.
But I'm talking about
substantial attrition.
Substantial attrition. I'm talking about 20%.
So how about a bold prediction from Keith Smith? By close of business 2023, what percentage of the car real estate roster will no longer be realtors?
So we got to factor out.
Yes. I'm not talking like actual realtors, not the folks that are paying to be a part of membership.
The associates.
Yeah, the associates.
So the total number I think is around 1,300 or something like that. I think there's about 1,000, just for simple math.
Call it 1,000.
For Smith brains.
1,000 agents.
That makes up words. Is about 1,000 agents. Look, I think we'll probably be somewhere in the range of 5 to 10% short. I think.
So, that's some attrition. That's not massive attrition.
No, but I think you'll see way more in 2024.
Way more. So where do you think, when are the dues due?
October, November. That's when the rubber's going to meet the road. When, I think it's October they're due. October.
Kevin Yancey says he thinks you'll see a 35% reduction in agents and car.
I don't disagree with that, but it'll be towards between today and the tail end of 2024. I think you're going to see that number, probably with a 3 in front of it, for sure. I don't think this year you will. I think there's just enough transactions going on that you will. But eventually, as the year goes on, look, the car due, the dues that you pay, it's not car, right? Car is actually a small percentage of it. It's National Association, it's the Virginia. But the real payment month is the quarterly MLS fees and all these other fees. They add up. So I think as we start working our way through the second and third quarter, I think a 5 or 10% reduction. Look, Smith, I got 2 big ones wrong last year. Who knows? I could be wrong on this one too. But I think logically, that's what you're going to see when you're starting to look at 20 to 30% reduction in transactions, right? It's just going to ultimately impact the number of agents. Certain agents are going to do very well, certain not so much.
Lee Alberson, welcome to the program. Lee Alberson says, good morning, and I can't wait to see everyone at the Real Talk holiday party here on the set and studio of the I Love CVille Network. Guys, mark your calendar for Wednesday. There's going to be tremendous fun and tremendous festivities and tremendous flair and fantastic, funny. Any more F's you can think of?
Fabulous.
Festivities here on the I Love CVille Network on Wednesday with some heavy hitters and some stakeholders and some local superstars in attendance. Lee Alberson says, I want some bold predictions from Keith Smith when it comes to interest rates. Get that crystal ball camera in the mix. Mustache Dan Pettit says, Mustache Keith Smith, will you not let Yonna Smith shave your mustache?
Dan, are you nuts? There's a reason I don't have a gun in the house. Just saying. Yeah, I'll ask Yonna. That actually would be pretty cool. They ask Yonna.
Because Yonna's never seen you without a mustache.
No, that's not true.
Oh, she has?
That's not true. Yeah.
Okay.
When we first, here you go. Here's a word. When we first started courting.
Oh?
Here's an old-timey word. When we first met, I did not have a mustache on. But in 85, let me see, it was about mid-85 I started.
So when did you guys start dating, you and Yonna? When did you meet Yonna for the first time?
Are you trying to get me into, well, that's a long story. So I met Yonna for the first time a year before we started dating.
Okay. Oh, you've told us this story.
Yeah.
Okay. When did you start dating?
I would say we started dating about 6 months before I rotated out.
So what year was that?
It was 80, let me see, it would be 84, mid-84.
Okay, and you've had the mustache since 85?
Since 85, yeah.
Okay.
Mid-85.
Okay.
Yeah.
This man has had this mustache for
I didn't start
30, almost 38 years.
I didn't start growing my mustache.
We'll call it 37 years.
Until I rotated out to Ottawa, Canada for my last 9 months. Before, that's what they would do. They would put you on a decompression tour to kind of work your way back into reality after all the years that we were doing. And except, if they failed to tell us that Ottawa, Canada, winter's 9 months. So, and at that particular point in time, Reagan was bombing Libya, and this turned out to be a large Libyan population in Ottawa, and we were rather busy in Ottawa instead of being nice and calm. But I didn't start growing until I was in.
Michael Plecker's got a bold prediction. Yes, Realty Partners, Michael Plecker.
That he's going to be top salesman at the end of 2023.
The king of Fontana, Michael Plecker.
I think that's my bold prediction, that he will be top salesman.
Ask Mr. Predicto, studio crystal ball camera. Why don't you ask Mr. Predicto that question over there? Move that coffee over there. I think the microphone picks up Mr. Predicto pretty well, doesn't he? Yeah? Judah says yes,
okay.
Ask Mr. Predicto that question.
Mr. Predicto, will Michael Plecker be the top salesman for YRP in 2023? Let's see.
It has been determined so.
Oh, Michael Plecker.
Mr. Protecto agrees with you.
Mr. Predictos agree with you.
On fire.
Michael Plecker's prediction is this: if you're a real estate agent in Central Virginia or Carr that lives by the $1 million deals,
Yeah.
I would start practicing working with the $350,000 buyers for 2023 and 2024.
So he's spot on. That's, look, so we got a couple different predictions going on. What's the overall market, and then what is our industry going to do, right? And we're kind of talking about our industry and talking about real estate agents, but that's ultimately what's going to happen is that the agents that were in the both ends of the bookend, that's the reason I was talking about that. They're going to migrate to the middle, right? YRP's for 2022's average sale was just shy of 400.
Okay.
Right, so we're right in that sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
In that end.
YRP is Yes Realty Partners.
Thank you.
One of the fantastic presenting partners of this fine and fair talk show.
There you go. And so you'll start agents coming in there. I will tell you something that is starting to happen, which has not been the case. I don't know if this is a prediction or more than just a We're starting now to get phone calls from Northern Virginia agents to refer out. That was not happening, and I don't exactly know why.
I have an idea why.
Well, what do you think that is?
Well, it's a lot of driving.
A lot of driving.
A lot of time spent doing this, and the deals aren't closing at the same clip as they once did, and they'd rather just hedge their bets and take a percentage of the deal as opposed to having to hustle the full percentage of the deal.
But last year, they were driving down.
Last year, the deals were, what did Yonna say? A turkey could fly into the wind? Isn't that what you said?
No. So Yonna's one of her famous
she's got some yogi-isms.
Oh, my God. Yes, God.
Wasn't that what you said?
No, even a turkey can fly in a hurricane.
Oh, that's what it was.
Are we pointing wands at each other?
Even a turkey. I love that phrase.
I don't quite understand it, but that's okay.
You understand it. Let's go to the 3-shot and welcome Judah Wickhauer to the program.
A hurricane, the wind will just push the turkey.
And the turkey's not very good at flying.
The turkey's not very good at flying.
I think it's genius, Yonna Smith.
It's total genius. And actually, I picked up I haven't told you this, I picked up a brand new pair of hearing aids yesterday. And
congratulations.
Thank you to the VA. God love them. I love them to death. They do wonderful work for me. But actually, this is a scary thought. I actually can now hear myself speak.
Okay.
Before that, I couldn't.
Tell me what it's like to hear yourself speak.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying. No, right? I wasn't able to hear my S's and my T's, and I knew I was speaking because my voice, my throat would vibrate, but I literally could not hear the words that were coming out of my mouth, and now I can, and I'm a little terrified. And the reason I thought that up is between Yonna's yogi-isms, and me not being able to hear what she's saying. You want to hear some really interesting conversation.
At the dinner table.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, it was like, honey, what did you just say? And then we kind of go through it, and she gets frustrated, and, whatever. But
Neil Williamson, yes, she does. Yonna speaks Keith.
She does.
She's an expert at speaking Keith.
She is. She is an expert. You are an expert at
I've spent a lot of time with this man.
That, and I think our viewers and listeners are starting to pick it. So Neil, other than the removal of my mustache, because that seems to be the top 3 predictions, what do you think the market's going to be? What is your real estate related, or let's not call it real estate related, let's call it, in the world of local politics, what's the big thing that you think is going to happen next year? Do you think they're actually going to get Albemarle County, get the affordable housing incentives done?
First, what I like to do, crystal ball camera, what I'd like to do is Neil Williamson, how do you think inventory real estate will trade in 2023? Second, Neil Williamson, in 2023, what is your big crystal ball prediction for expanding the comprehensive plan past 5%? Currently, only 5% of Albemarle County is allocated for residential and commercial development. Fantastic article.
Yeah. The poem was a little lengthy, though, I have to admit.
I thought it was fantastic.
I love you. It was just a little lengthy. I had to worked my way through it. It was really good. Yeah, so I mean that's great. You know, and I guess the third thing is when I lose my mustache and the city's new zoning ordinance come in there, what does he predict that the number of units increase will be in the next 12 to 24 months? So you know, it's not. Look, if you want to buy and sell, the market's still there. It always was there. It always will be there for that. On that end of it, it's just there's going to be a reduced number of units compared to last year. And I'm very carefully looking at 18 and 19 because a lot of this is how it feels, and this feels a lot like 2018 and 2019. You know, there's concessions coming back, right? There are. You know, the insanity of doing no home inspections are gone, right? We're back to normalization. So actually, our 2023 business plan that Yonna and I wrote last week, you know, that was the key phrase. Everything is going to go back to what we perceived as normalization. The last 2 years wasn't good, right? It wasn't normal. It wasn't good for the market. So I think my prediction is you're going to see a little bit more normalization. You're going to see, you know, folks are going to have to bring in their A game. And we will, I mean, it is what it is. It happens all the time like this when the market goes this way. I think the agents that came in the last 24 months are going to be really hard to stay on for the next 24 months.
This question's come in. It's a very good one. Grayson, we haven't heard from you in a little while.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate you watching in North Downtown. What's the bold and big prediction of a topic you guys talk frequently, diversity on the realtor roster in CAR? Keith's big prediction on diversity in 2023 with agents.
So, unfortunately, with the reduction of number of agents is probably going to impact the diverse amount of agents. I'm not going to make a prediction about that. I'm going to say what I want. What I want is more diversity. We need more diversity. It's diversity from age. I mean, what is it? The average car agent, I think, is 50-something years old. Neil would probably know that number off the top of his head. We need younger folks in it to help other younger folks. We need people of color on there. I think you're going to see the Hispanic agent roster grow a little bit, but it's woefully low, and we just need to do whatever we can. A shout out to S. Lisa Herndon, who's the new president for CAR. You know, she is, you know, driving this what we call DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. 110%. I'm supporting it. Will continue to support it any way I can on it, and help her any way I can on it. But it needs to get better. It will. It's just not going to get better in a percentage numbers it needs to.
Mustache Dan Pettit, keep checking on how many townhomes and condos sell in 2023 versus detached homes. With interest rates higher, I believe at least 60% will be townhomes and condos selling. What do you think?
So,
Mustache Keith Smith.
Yeah, so Mustache Dan is about right? Here's the negative prediction of that. The problem is, there's just not enough new projects being approved and going through the system. So again, maybe if I lose my mustache and this new zoning gets kicked in, maybe some more duplexes will come in. I mean, that's the whole intent of this missing middle. It'll happen because that's the right price point, right? That's where the price point that makes sense. But we need to have an increase in the units, and that's not happening. Yeah, but
the builders aren't building.
Yeah, but we talked about this last year on the show.
We did.
And you know, there are some new construction townhome units coming up, but these were projects that were approved and getting started. Colonial Circle in Fluvanna County is a prime example. We talked about it last year. They are pushing dirt. I can report the multifamily apartment complex is coming out of the ground. They actually got the foundation in, and they're starting to work on the sticks, on the framing of it. But those townhomes won't come to the market probably mid-2023 to the tail end of 2023. we need more projects in the pipeline, and we need, these counties to turn red, again, another topic we talked about last year. We talk about it all the time. Red tape into green tape, get projects approved, get inventory going in the ground. And I have to excuse myself for a second.
Betsy Hill Nugent, welcome to the program. Coach Betsy has got some of the best mechanics on the tennis court of someone have ever seen. Betsy Hill Nugent, you are A+ people. I love seeing you around Boar's Head. And if I don't have a chance to say this before Christmas, Merry Christmas to you, Betsy. You are a fantastic human being. I sincerely mean that, Betsy.
So
more comments and questions coming in?
Yeah. Please fire off, and we've got 10 minutes before our hard stop.
What is Keith Smith's crystal ball prediction on values in Albemarle County and Charlottesville City real estate, and whether those residential values will increase or decrease?
So,
crystal ball, Judah.
Yeah. So this is something I'm prepared to make a prediction on. We're going to see increases because I looked at the numbers literally this morning. We're going to see increases, but they're going to be more in line of the slower single-digit year-over-year increases, the 20%, 12%, whatever it was in the insanity time. But what the big bold prediction for 2023 is inventory, the amount of units for sale is going to decrease. The amount of units closing or pendings or sold are going to decrease. But the values are not going to drop concurrently, right? Oh boy, that's a big word too. They're going to go up a little bit, but they're going to go up more in the normal 2 to 3 to 4% year over year. And that's just not me speaking. That's, everybody, the economists with the PhDs saying it. Again, these were the same folks that said we weren't going to go over 4%.
Jamie Dimon has been woefully wrong with his crystal ball predictions over the last year, 18 months. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, arguably the most powerful banker in the world. Go ahead, Keith Smith.
So why am I making that prediction that values won't go down? The bottom line is there's too many buyers chasing too few opportunities. That's just going to keep prices going up. When that starts going the other way, when there's not enough buyers chasing too few, I can get this right. When there's more buyers and less opportunities, of course the price is going to I get this right, Smith. Less buyers, more opportunities, price will come down. I got it. Let me have a sip of coffee. Hang on.
King of Scottsville, Philip Dow, watching the program. Philip Dow wants your take, and this is something that I've been following very, very closely myself. Philip Dow in Scottsville. In the town of Scottsville, I've been following this very, very closely as well.
The project that they're doing.
200 plus apartments for the tire plant.
Yep.
Your thoughts on this, Keith Smith?
Yeah, so actually I spoke to the town manager in we were in Washington, D.C. at the Virginia Governor's Housing Conference on that project. That's going to happen. It's taking...
Matt Lawless, yeah.
Okay. So it's taking a little longer than expected, as these things usually do, unfortunately. Back to this red tape, green tape kind of thing on it. I mean, just to make a comment to that, we were talking about this time last year that the development incentives program would have been done in the beginning of this year. Well, we're not done yet, and it might happen the beginning of 2023, which Ned may know what they are, and I profess to be somewhat connected. I have no idea what the incentives are yet. I think they're just going to vote on something and it's going to be what it's going to be. And I don't think anybody really vetted them out if it's going to be impactful or not. I think what's happening here is the process is getting a little long on the tooth, and they're just going to approve anything just to approve it. I know that's a bit pessimistic on it, but maybe Neil knows more about this than I do. But I have not seen the list of incentives.
Philip Dowell highlights, for example, infrastructure not being in play for a 200-unit apartment development in the old tire plant.
Sure.
Specifically, he highlights emergency services.
Yeah.
The emergency services would be coming from Charlottesville and Western Albemarle to Scottsville.
Yep.
You're talking a 30-minute response time. Scottsville, Philip Dow says, currently cannot accommodate a development of this density with the infrastructure it has in place.
Yeah, there's I may be mistaken, but I believe Scottsville has its own rescue squad, or there's a rescue squad that can either come from Fluvanna County. I'm not exactly sure on that end of it, but look, I think it's going to happen, and I think it's going to happen regardless. I think the bigger question is, will it be occupied? Are people willing to drive from Scottsville into Charlotte,
the epicenter of employment?
Epicenter of employment. I'm not.
Another question.
I think the market, and this is an indication. Just not that I want to sidestep the infrastructure questions on that end of it, but that's generally the problem with these projects that take so long to get through.
The market changes.
The market changes.
And another item that you should watch very closely is how our macro circumstances, like interest rates, cost of goods increasing,
Sure.
labor shortages, going to potentially influence or impact a development of this magnitude.
So one of the things we got right last year was our concern about inflation. We were talking about that at the end of last year, that inflation was the wild card, right? Inflation was the wild card on how it could impact the overall economy and the overall housing market. So to a certain extent, we kind of got it right. We said, look, inflation is going to be a problem. I just didn't predict that it would impact the interest rates that greatly. I probably should have seen it, but I didn't, that high on it. But look, we're at interest rates of 6% right now, and last 7 days, 49 homes went pending. So there's homes being bought, right? It's off from what went pending last year. Last year was 76 on it. There are less units closing per week, 95 versus 66 now, but homes are being bought and sold.
The mayor of McIntyre says Scottsville has their own fire and rescue
that's what I thought, yeah.
on Route 6
That's what I thought.
west of town.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Thank you very much, Mayor of McIntyre.
Thank you.
Multiple folks are asking.
I believe that's volunteer also. That's not a paid fire and rescue.
Multiple folks are asking for the bold predictions on interest rates, and multiple folks are asking on bold predictions for first-time home buyers in 2023.
So I screwed up interest rates so bad last year, I'm afraid to even go there. But we'll work on that for Monday. But the, I'm gonna echo what Scott's been saying. I think we're gonna start seeing towards the tail end of this year, from the 6 to go maybe 4 to 5. I know. I'm trying to be positive. I know. Mr. Predictor, was Smith even close?
The answer is yes.
Oh, Mr. Predicto.
I may be close.
Neil Williamson says this: Scottsville derives its revenues from utility taxes, meals tax, business and professional licenses, bank franchise tax, locality share of sales tax collected by the state, transient occupancy tax, and other revenue-producing sources. Information on meals tax, information on transient occupancy tax, information on business license tax, BPOL. The town of Scottsville does not collect real estate or personal property taxes. Scottsville property owners pay real estate and personal property taxes to the county in which they are a part of, Albemarle or Fluvanna County.
That's exactly right.
And he shares a link in the comment section. Head over there to read that.
So we've got 2 minutes to our hard stop. Mr.
Michael Plecker says 7.5% interest rates by 2023.
Yeah, well,
I am starting to think, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that interest rates
Gonna be
will
this way
be
for a
going upward
Yeah, well.
at the end of 2023. Jay Powell
It's interesting,
was
though.
very hawkish.
Oh, yeah. But
Very hawkish on Wednesday.
But I looked at the 10-year Treasury just before we started. It was at 3.5, right? If that 10-year Treasury yield starts dropping a little bit, the interest rates will drop a little bit. But right now at 3.5, that puts us at 7, right? Usually double it is generally the rule of thumb. On that
Steven says, what will a 7% interest rate do, bold prediction, to the real estate market in 2023?
So I'm going to stick by my bold prediction. I think we're going to be more looking like an 18, 19 volume-wise than a 20, 21, 22, early 22 volume-wise. I don't think prices are going to drop down. Now, look, some rural areas may get hit harder than the urban areas. One side of the street may be different than the other side of the street. The 6 items I constantly talk about is going to be super important on it. There will be winners, there will be losers, there will be areas here that will decrease in value. But I think overall, like if we were talking Charlottesville or the urban ring or Fluvanna County or Lake Monticello or Greene County, I gave a presentation to Greene County. Their year over year went up, right, for them. I think you're going to see values continue to creep up at a very small percentage rate, but you're going to start seeing our balancing back to the 2018 and 19 volume. But more about this on Monday, because you have a hard stop.
I do. I have a Christmas pageant that I'm going to go to in between talk shows, and then sprint from the Christmas pageant back to work to do the I Love CVille show. I think I might have 4 or 5 minutes to spare in between the Christmas pageant and this, but such is the life of a working father and a small business owner.
And I'm trying to be respectful to you and your time and your family.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing our youngster
you should
singing
enjoy, man,
and performing.
These
Last day of school before Christmas break for him.
And we're now at 11:01, and I promise you 11 o'clock. So,
Yeah.
And this is not about you. This is about Mrs. Miller.
Oh, no doubt.
Mrs. Miller.
Oh, and the family that's in town there.
Yeah. So please, guys, tune in on Monday. This was just a quick little. This is probably the shortest show we've ever done.
Perhaps.
But we're gonna spend
been
more.
enjoyable.
I love it. We're gonna spend more time on this. We're gonna have hats on Monday.
Oh.
Yeah.
And highlight Wednesday.
Yeah, and then Wednesday we've got our Christmas party. We've got at the moment 23 yes folks that are going to show up. Santa Claus will be sitting in this seat.
He's got 23 people.
And it may be more than that. Santa Claus is going to be sitting in this seat.
Neil Williamson, 23 people in the I Love
Yeah,
CVille
unfortunately,
studios.
Neil can't make it. But
I know he can't, but Neil knows the I Love CVille studio. 23 people he's got. We talked initially 8 people, Neil Williamson. The guest list has gone from 8 to 23. Neil Williamson.
Smith did a Smith. And, but Buddy the Elf will be sitting there. And everybody has to wear a sweater. And we're going to go, the viewers and listeners, please put it on your calendar. We're going to have to vote for most festive, ugliest, and best overall sweaters. And people are going to rotate in and out of here. And there may be adult beverages, may not be adult beverages and food, but we're going to have a lot of fun. This has been a real serious couple of years, and I just want to end the year on a big note and have a lot of fun. So please tune in on Wednesday. On Monday, we're going to have hats, mess up our hairs. I didn't want to do it today because I knew you were going out
I'm
to
glad.
public.
Thank you.
You're going out to public.
Thank
I would
you.
not do that.
We have to do some photos.
Yep.
Keith Smith, Judah Woodcower, Jerry Miller. I love these guys. I sincerely do. I'm off to a holiday Christmas pageant with some 4 and 5-year-olds. Real Talk with Keith Smith is presented by Yes Realty Partners. The website is realtalkwithkeithsmith.com.
Who did that website?
A fantastic company named VMV Brands. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, the Monday edition will feature big, bold.
Yeah. We're going to have a lot of fun on Monday.
I love it. You guys have a good morning. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Go.
Man.
Go.
Now,
Go.
Judah, I